Check. Test. 1, 2. Okay. Check. Check. 1, 2. Huh? Winner.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is good to be with all of you and good for all of us to be able to be together to welcome in Shabbat on this Friday evening. We have a special evening. We are two things this evening. First, we are going to be celebrating many of our volunteers, especially a special moment later on in our service. And we know, look, in Kol Emeth, it's a small community. Kind of everyone gets their hands busy, thank goodness, in all the work that we do, but just grateful for those of you who are here and for those who are watching at home on live stream who we know do so much of the work to help our community feel as warm and loving and caring and active as it is. And as a part of that, we have the opportunity to learn from and to really, in some ways, kind of celebrate one of our community partners, Family Promise, that some of you know a little bit about. If you don't know about, you're about to get a deep dive into it. Amanda Signs, the executive director of Family Promise, is here, and she'll be speaking to us, to the community, to share a little bit about her work and some of the ways that all the things we do for them and how it supports having a much more whole and healthy and happy community for all of us here in East Cobb and Marietta. We're going to continue now with Hine Matov. This is, I think, our third week now of singing this Hine Matov. Second week? I don't know. Okay. This is a new tune for us here that Blake wrote over the summer or sometime in the spring. This Hine Matov, words are on page 10, if you need the words, page 10 in the top right. But again, how good it is for all of us to be together, dwelling, brothers, sisters, family, welcoming Shabbat together. Please join in with us as you feel comfortable.
And next week I'll teach you the second part.
Oh, great.
Gam
97, the bottom of page 14. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. So grateful to welcome Shabbat with music and song and to celebrate all of our volunteers, but those of us who are the righteous members of this community who help build us up and help make us whole. We're just so grateful and to be able to celebrate all of that with these ancient words of Psalm 97. There is a person in our community who, while they themselves are not a volunteer, does so much of her job is actually coordinating volunteers and all of the people and supporting all of you and all the work that you do. So we're grateful to welcome up Cindy Livingston, our Director of Member Engagement, to light our Shabbat candles.
Hear my prayer, I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We continue now with Lechado D on page 20, welcoming Shabbat spiritually. We'll be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, and when we get to verse 9, we'll rise and face the entrance as we welcome metaphorically the Shabbat bride into our midst.
Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד, שמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתפילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך כולי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ותולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי כלה, בואי כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, Shabbat Nekabela.
Reader's Kaddish, page 26, as we transition into the main portion of our prayer service.
Yit Gadol v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yalma Divrach Yerutei, Yamlik Malchutei,
B'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayetecho Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, uv'izman kahariv,
V'meru.
Amen. Yeshmei Rabba mevorach, me'alam la me'al mahiyah, Yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabat, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, shemei l'kudashah
Brichu.
le'alamim kol brakata v'shirata,
Tushbechata v'nechemata, dahamiran me'alma. Imeru, Amen.
Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my days be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. Baruch Hu, our call to worship, page 28.
Adonai, Hamevorah.
For the changing of Night to day, day to night, Ma'ariv Aravim, page 30. Together in the Hebrew, if you're able. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, bechokma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalift et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem birakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Ma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil bein yom uvein layla. Adonai tzevaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Ahavat olam, our prayer of unending love that we receive from God, page 32.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu lemadeta, otanu lemadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shokveinu, Kumeinu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, u'vahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. V'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, our prayer of God's oneness, of the unity of our lives and purpose, page 34 and 35.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch shekevod malchuto leolam va'ed. Baruch shekevod malchuto leolam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
You may be seated. Words to You Shall Love can be found on the back of your Friday flyer, page 36 as well.
You shall love Adonai, your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart. shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they may be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorpost of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. Page 39. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land. The winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining our hands and marching together. Micha Mocha, page 40. Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Hashkivenu, asking for God's blessing and comfort and shelter when we lie down to go to sleep tonight, so that we may rise up again tomorrow, renewed, refreshed for a new day. Page 42.
Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shokeinu lechayim. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shokeinu lechayim. Ushmor tzeitenu, Shalom, ve'ata ve'adolam. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shokeinu lechayim. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomrei.
song of joy for Shabbat, Vishamru, top of page 44.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam beridolam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam beridolam B'ni uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam beridolam
Ki sheshet yamim
Asah Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam beridolam
Uvhayom HaShvi'i
Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam beridolam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam beridolam.
We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We continue now with Tefillah, the central prayer of our evening. On page 46, 48, 50, and 52, we will pray together. Please rise. And then after that, we'll have a moment for our own personal prayers, either the words of our prayer book or the words of our own hearts through page 62 together. When you're finished with those personal prayers, you may be seated.
Adonai sifatai tivtaku via gita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Chanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Chakol, V'zocher Hasei Avot V'imod, U'mevi Gula Lifnei V'nechem, L'man Shemo B'Yakava, Melech Otzir Moshiach U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham V'Zrat Sarah,
page 50.
Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Le'Hoshiach, Morid HaTahol, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechaye HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofech Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Givurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah le'achayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol.
אתה קדוש, ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום, יהללו הסלע. ברוך אתה Blessed is our God, blessed is the one, the world ablaze with splendor. Ata kadosh, v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'kol yom, ya'alelu ha'selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
Page 60.
Ki atahu melech adom lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adom lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'tov b'necha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We turn now to page 253 for Misha Barach, our prayer of healing. In our community, we're thinking of so many who are in need of healing of body and mind and of spirit. We're thinking of Harvey Adelsky, Sherry Alexander, Gary Atkins, Richard Barker, Betty Berlin, Von Binns, Lynn Birmingham, Bruce Cohen, Isidore Cohen, Nicholas Catrone, Mary Davis, Stephen Despins, Mitch Earl, Carrie Ehrlich, Greg Fine, Aaron and Roz Feingold, Laura Floyens, Margaret Fogel, Bobby Fredrickson, Lauren Friedman, Max Gans, Nancy Gay, Margie Glazer, Tom Gorgon, Rick Hack, George Campbell Hamilton, Frederick Herman, Braden Hink, Laura Jacoby, Maria Javier, John Jenkins, Linda Jenkins, Shanna Jenkins, Jackie Capstein, Michelle Krangle, Sylvia Cook, Ken Levy, Marcia Levy, Brenda Lewis, Dorothy London, Liz Lyman, Lisa Macklin, Bridget Manley, Larry M. Melnick, Paul Melnick, Esta Mitchell, Lowell Morrow, Simone Neiman, Arthur Newman, Jacob Newman, and Joyce Newman, Ray Phillips, Lynn Prisant, Kathy Rasnick, Marjorie Romes, Deborah Rowan, Norman Rosenblatt, Sherry Rosenblum, Barry Savage, Lisa Schaefer, Ed Shepts, Brian Schneider, David Schwartz, Nancy Shallett, Randy Shapiro, Louis Sidray, Gail Siegel, Carter Silk, Nicole Aronson Silverman, Debbie Singerman, David Skolny, Arthur Slutza, Mike Steele, Randy Suchke, Dr. John Sid Williams, Dr. Walter Wolf, Yardamer Ben Yitzchak, Paul Zale, Shmuel Baruch Ben Dina. We're adding also this evening Rabbi Emeritus Steve Lebo. He's having a small procedure today. Everything's okay. Hopefully we're expecting it to be a one-day trip on the Misha Barak list, and wishing him, along with everyone else, a speedy recovery. If you have another name that you'd like to add to bring their name of this loved one into our community, please feel free to do so at this time.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
An important question that I encounter with people, especially young adults, as we're having conversations about the importance of Judaism in our lives, is what is the Jewish textual basis? What's the Torah reasoning for why do we care about the world around us? Why do we care about our neighbors or those who we don't know who are, 10 doors down as opposed to just our next door neighbors who, I don't know, as happened to me, their sprinkler broke and flooded my yard, and now we're talking all the time. So thinking about that, we actually find I was doing a little bit of this work a couple of years ago and found about 13 or so different reasons. I'm going to list them all for you now with a 5-minute separate sermon for each of them. So there's a test afterwards. No, one of them in particular, we actually find in this week's Torah portion in Parshat Ekev. In Deuteronomy 11:22, if you faithfully keep all this instruction that I command to you, if you follow all of God's commandments, all the mitzvot, if you listen to this Torah that I command you, loving the eternal God, loving the eternal your God, walking in all God's ways, and holding fast to God. Walking in all God's ways. So many different ways for us to be able to contextualize that and find what that means for us. A 2nd century Midrash, Sifrei Devarim, says, and explain this phrase, to walk in God's ways. So it asks the question, which are the ways of God? And it brings up a text from Exodus, Adonai, Adonai, God of mercy and grace, slow to wrath and abundant in mercy and truth, keeping loving kindness for thousands, forgiving transgression, offense, and sin, and cleansing. How is it possible for a person to be called the same as God? Okay, we are to walk in God's ways. This text is now bringing this idea that we are in ourselves acting as God in the world. Just as God is called merciful and gracious, you are to be merciful and gracious and give gratuitously to all. It's that simple. We are to give gratuitously to all. We know that many of us here are volunteers in all the many ways that we help build up this community and help it be the beautiful, caring place that we know that Kol Emeth is when it is at its best. And as a part of that, we are blessed to work with many community partners, 3 or 4 in particular closely, and one of whom we are grateful to be able to hear from their executive director this evening. Autumn Signs and her family have been living as longtime residents here in Cobb County, and she has dedicated herself to various causes, including combating food insecurity and supporting women who've survived sex trafficking. When the opportunity arose to become the executive director of Family Promise, which we are going to hear a little bit about in that work, she embraced it wholeheartedly. Driven by a deep sense of compassion, Autumn is committed to providing comprehensive support and care to children and their families who are facing the trauma of homelessness. Autumn, it's my honor to invite you to speak to all of us, the community. We know how much we love supporting you and working with you. As I said earlier, I wish your organization didn't have to exist, but I'm glad it does. So welcome.
Thank you for allowing us to be here this evening. I greatly appreciate it. I have been a part of Family Promise since January. However, Family Promise of Cobb County has been here for the past 10 years. Before that, Family Promise was started with an accidental lunch with a homeless woman and Karen Olson in 1981. After Karen left that lunch, she realized 3 things after speaking with her lunch date. One, the homeless community really wants to be recognized. They want to be treated with respect, and they want to be heard. So she immediately started feeding, along with her family, homeless families that homeless individuals that lived in New York City. Then fast forward to the mid-'80s, and she heard that there were families who were experiencing homelessness in her hometown. And what she found out also is that they were being separated when they were in a homeless shelter. And if you're not really aware, when you are experiencing homelessness, you are experiencing some semblance of trauma. And we all have been through trauma. We know how hard it is to go through that. When you separate families into different sections of a homeless shelter or something like that, even separate families, period, there is an additional trauma of being separated. And so she started working with faith communities in New Jersey to start Family Promise. And what she did is she started the rotation shelter. Skip forward 40 years, we are now in 43 states and we have over 200 affiliates. So apparently we're doing something right. We started, as I stated, in 2014, and we now have today 14 faith congregations that partner with us to provide a safe shelter for children, minor children who are experiencing homelessness with their families. We provide a rotation shelter where our families rotate into our faith congregations for 7 days. In that 7 days, they are provided a safe shelter to sleep. They're provided meals. They're provided encouragement and love. And for 7 days, when they're at a congregation, they're being listened to. They feel like they're of value. So we do that, and then we have 3 transition homes. Once they graduate from the rotation shelter, they can go into a transition home, and they stay in a transition home until they are successful in finding affordable, positive housing. You and your community here have been instrumental in allowing us to be successful. One of the reasons why I had asked to be a part of this evening is I wanted to take a moment to thank all the volunteers that have been a part of our community. From the individuals who set up the beds for us, to the individuals who take the beds down, to the individuals who provide a dinner, breakfast, an ear for our parents to talk to, playing games with our children, and all the numerous other volunteer opportunities that you do to make us successful. I wanted to just take a moment to say thank you. As we start moving into 2025, and then 5 years from now and 10 years from now, we have incredible goals. I knew when I started Family Promise, I was going to grow Family Promise. We are right now seeing a 16% increase in homelessness, homelessness that are impacting families, and specifically minor children in Cobb County. And so we are now starting to see middle-class families experiencing homelessness. We just had a teacher graduate our program. We just had a nurse graduate from our program. We have a neurological assistant right now in our program. We have individuals that have college degrees, who have certificates, that have experienced a significant trauma in their life, and they need help. They don't have a community. You would think that it'd be easy to pick up the phone and call mom, dad, siblings, or best friends, and unfortunately, they've become isolated and they don't have that support, and we provide that. And most of all, you provide that for our families. We have a woman that Abby, who is our communications director, spoke to last week, and she said, I finally feel of value. And that's incredible. That's y'all. That's you showing love and kindness to our families. We're growing, as I stated. Next year, if we get our grants, we will introduce something called a preventative care. So what we're doing and hoping is that we can help families before they're evicted, so that we can help them. They can come in and receive some case management. Sometimes families have never been taught how to budget, so we'll sit down and help them learn how to budget. Sometimes people think that it's okay to pay a $35 late fee. So we sit down and just kind of educate them on the importance of following a budget. So for preventative care, we will be working to ensure that families are not evicted. We are wanting to grow further into Cobb County. We are in West Cobb and East Cobb right now. We want to have congregations in South and West Cobb, South and North Cobb. And then the last part we're hoping to introduce in fourth quarter, if everything works out, is we are going to start providing stabilization programs. So when a parent lives through trauma, we want to celebrate that they've gone through the trauma, that they have successfully graduated from our program and they're no longer living in that trauma. But we also want to teach them how to handle trauma. So we are working with several organizations in hopes to provide free trauma counseling. And then we want to help them build their own communities. So we're working with a organization that provides food, and we will start establishing cohorts for our graduates so they can come together weekly, pack up their foods, and then provide some kind of program for them. We're thinking of providing certain topics every week that they can work through and build that community. So if something happens, they have a community that they've built on. And then one of the other things that we are trying to do is, I've gone blank, I can't remember my third thing, but oh my word, I can't believe I did that. But, the children. Ooh, the children. So what we want to do is we want to work with the Social Services Department with Cobb County, and we want to make sure that if they are homeless, that they are receiving some kind of special counseling so they can also learn how to process their trauma. We have shown, there have been studies shown that children who experience homelessness are more likely to be homeless in their adult life. So one of the things that I'm asking our congregations to do is just remember that our families that are homeless, they want to be heard and they want to be they want to be respected. Most of our families have gone through some significant trauma, and that has caused them to be homeless. These individuals are not individuals that are lazy, who want to live on the government assistance. These are individuals that are working 2 and 3 jobs, and just things have happened. And so I would ask, if you don't mind, is just when you encounter them, just love on them like y'all do. And then one of the other things I'm going to be asking our congregations to do is just help us, if you can, start growing, because we have so many families that are homeless. If you go through popular parking lots, like on Roswell Road or around Johnson Ferry Road, if you go through those parking lots, you have families that are trying to fit in that are homeless. So if you see families that are homeless, see if they need help and give them our number. So just ask that you just keep remembering us as we grow and help our families. And once again, I'm so thankful for y'all. And we couldn't be as successful as we are without the volunteers here. So thank you so much.
Autumn, thank you so much. We really appreciate all the work you do and are grateful for the opportunity to work with you and support you. Throughout the year, there's 2-3 times or so a year when we host families in the Doc Lebo Center, and it's just a really important part of what we did. It just 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think, was the most recent time when we were able to support some families here. And who are the people who make that happen are many of the people sitting here, all of you. And we're grateful for all of our incredible volunteers whose dedication goes beyond the walls of Kol Emeth and extends into the broader community. We know that we have people who have cooked a meal for the Zabin Center, stood at our front door as a greeter, helped run an event like Avodah, volunteered in the front office, or did any other volunteer effort within our congregation or through the partnerships we built. There are too many to actually name. You all know that. Like, there are way too many to actually name all the things we do. But if you are one of those people, please join me on the beam as we celebrate your unwavering commitment and the profound impact you've made on countless lives. Please come on up. Don't be shy. Don't be bashful. We know you work hard. We want to love on you. For everyone else, if you're able to, please rise as we open the ark. No, you stand near the side. Just make a nice little clump in the middle. The most beautiful little clump here. Moseying on in from the back. You can block the ark. It's okay. There's a lot of us. We're grateful for it. Make clump in. It feels weird. I'm not Moses. We're not partying any sea here. Martha just said it's everybody. It feels like it. That's pretty true. We have so many people who give so much here. So we offer this blessing from Leviticus' priestly blessing that we say so many ways and so many times. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, you sustain and nourish us, all of you, with the sacred wisdom and traditions of our people, teaching Torah to us and to our children. May God bless you and keep you through all of the deeds that you do. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, you work alongside all of us, especially me. I'm new. You've been dragging me through these 2 months. I'm so grateful for all you do, and to bring the light of justice and compassion to God's broken world. May God's face shine upon all of you. May God always be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, you bear witness to our lives and accompany us on our journey. You help us elevate our consciousness and search in every hour for God's presence in our lives. For your dedication to our community, may God lift your hearts and grant you wholeness, fulfillment, and peace. Keni Ratzon, may it be God's will. Amen. You all can head back to your seats. I would give you all hugs right now, but we'd be here for an hour and a half.
We do that when we come in.
As people are moseying on back to their seats, continue with Aleinu L'Shabeach, our prayer of communal responsibility on page 253. If you're standing and you're able to, stay standing. If you just sat back down, it's every day is leg day. Please stand back up. Page 253.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, l'atei gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu ki oyeh haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 287.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
No, I don't have every page number memorized. You may be seated. Don't have them all memorized. You're like, he does this enough, maybe one day. Our thoughts turn to those who've departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. To remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. In our community, we're thinking of those whose yahrzeit falls this week, the anniversary of their death. We're thinking of Stephen Eckber, Dean Gillespie, Manuel Gordon, Florence Gottlieb, Jerry Gross, Ross Kapstein, Ellen Marcia Katz, Marilyn Krasnov, Jared Schaefer. We also call to mind all those who we are in the period of Shana for those whose passing happened in the last year from this community. Sidney Schneider, Melvin Kiner, Francis Reef, Sandra Sletza, Mary Thoburn, Erica Goldstone, James Corley, David Rechtman, Judith Siegel, Norman Spitzer, Joanne Hankins, Helene Holtzman, Barbara Rubin Piesick, Mark Newerman, Edith Meininger, Jerry Livingston, Bob Kershaw, Alan Eisen, Patty Savage, Norma Plattner, Philip Meal, Rodney Scott Cohen, Kitty Cohen, and Lila Kaminer. Memorial service for Lila will be happening here on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. We'd love for you to join us. As is custom here, also if anyone else has anyone else who we'd like to add our list of a loved one who is passed on from this earth, who we'd want to bring their memory to our minds and thoughts today, please you may do so now. As is custom here, we rise to support our mourners, to join them on page 294 for Mourners Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam lomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu amin kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May all of their memories be a blessing for us today and always, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. The honor of inviting up Sandy Davis, president of Temple Kol Emeth, to share some announcements with us.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I've got several thank yous. First, thank you to Autumn Signs for sharing about Family Promise of Cobb County. Thank you very much. Thank you to Paul and Paula Wilson for sponsoring the wine and cheese prior to services. I'd also like to express my appreciation for all of our volunteers. You are the heartbeat of our congregation, and we wouldn't be the strong community that we are without your time and talent. Thank you very much. Religious school parents, you are invited to grab a free cup of coffee from Woodstock Coffee Company after dropping off your kids at religious school this Sunday. Hang out and chat with other parents to get to know each other. You're invited to kick off 5780 is 6 weeks away. Did you know that? No clue. Stay tuned next week for the launch.
It's news to us, everyone. News to us.
Stay tuned next week for the launch of our High Holiday Hub, where you'll find the service schedule, details about our new digital ticketing system. That's right. We're going digital. We're not mailing tickets this year. Information for families and so much more. We're looking forward to celebrating together with all of you. Check the Tekiah every Tuesday for more details about everything going on at Tekiah, at TKE, sorry. Please join us after services for our own egg. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We'll conclude our service with Kiddush and Motzi. If you're hungry and want some challah, come join me. I know what they want. I know I can just sense it already. We'll begin with Kiddush first. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen l'chaim. Take a piece. I'll take it away. Ha-motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for challah. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'te'avon, everyone, Shabbat Shalom.